Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
And hello to everybody watching at home. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Greg, friend of Theater 444, and it's my pleasure to sit here tonight in the comfort of my own home to interview all of these wonderful people in the comfort of their own homes about Theater 444's upcoming live streamed musical production of Daddy Longlegs. A really beautiful musical. I believe it appeared off Broadway. Pam, correct me if I am wrong. But based on a novel by Gene Webster, music and lyrics by Paul Gordon, a book by John Caird, being live streamed from Bat Singer Hall at the top of the Waterloo Library and Historical Society next weekend, November 13th and 14th at 8 p.m. and November 15th at 2 p.m. You can buy tickets at theater444.com. So please do. Over the next few minutes, we are going to interview and hear from all of these people you see here with me, so I will let them introduce themselves, but they are all part of the creative and technical team behind the magic of live streaming musical. Such a feat for a relatively small theater group in this time. I know Pam, director of Daddy Longlegs and of Theater 444. Can you talk to us just a little bit about this being a first feat of doing this for Theater 444?
Yeah. So, obviously, COVID. So, we're not going to have a bunch of people come into a theater and watch a production. We, back in March, when all of this started, we had a couple of shows that were planned and we had to cancel because we couldn't bring people into the theater. So we canceled Spelling Bee and we canceled Romeo and Juliet last summer, and it was just super disappointing. We really wanted to connect with our, community and our patrons. And so we started doing some live streams on Facebook. Oh, here's Paul and John got lost there.
We had a bad connection.
Okay, good. Glad you're back. So we did some live streams over the summer, and our patrons were so generous and lovely to us and helped support us, give us donations so that we could kind of stay afloat. And so this is really for them more than anything, because we wanted to do something, but we knew we couldn't bring folks into the theater. So we are giving this a whirl. We were able to partner with the Waterloo Library and Historical Society, and they have been super generous with their space and letting us come in, and we set up our set and we created costumes and we have our lights and we have the whole thing like we would normally have. And then on top of that, we have all the streaming equipment and all of the equipment that it takes to create a live stream during the run of the show. So I think that the interesting part about this is that it's going to be live. It's not going to be recorded. It's not like you're going to be watching a movie of the show. You're going to be watching what is actually happening at the time that you're there. So it's real time. And Garrett, how much you had figured out in your head and estimated how much the equipment that we were using and had begged, borrowed, and stealed from people? Like, give us an estimate of how much all that cost for real.
So with everything that we're doing between lights, cameras, sound equipment, we've got well over like $18,000 worth of equipment on this production.
Yeah.
We have some amazing friends who have been able to donate stuff and let us borrow stuff for the 2 weeks that we need it so that we can make this production happen.
So it's been super exciting. It's a new venture. We're live theater folks, so we're used to having people in the theater, and so this is new.
So it sounds like what you have planned on doing is is similar on a community level to the live productions that have been popular on TV in the last few years, produced by NBC, Fox, like The Sound of Music, Peter Pan, The Wiz, Hairspray, Ren, all of those, Jesus Christ Superstar. It's the same idea. You're performing live, cameras are capturing it, and audiences are seeing it exactly as the cameras are capturing it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
In
so
fact,
cool.
what'd you say?
That's so cool.
Yeah, let me show you a photograph that I took today during rehearsal to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. So the actors are performing down on the floor there, and then up in the balcony, Garrett and RJ and John and I are up there, and we're working to get that picture on the screen. And it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, but pretty exciting too. And the space you can see is beautiful, and it lends itself to us being able to social distance and stay, far apart from each other and still be safe. Part of the reason that we selected this show was because there's only 2 actors in the show, and the show is set through letters. So they write letters. So there's not a lot of contact. There's a little bit of contact, but not a lot. This is them today at rehearsal. So you can see we're covering our bases health and safety wise. We're social distancing. We have a temperature log we take of everybody when they come into the theater. We're washing and keeping safe. And the night of the show, the actors won't wear their masks to sing because it is hard for them to sing with those on. But they are very much a part for the bulk of the show.
Perfect. And I love that Adeline has very kindly let me know that the feather in the logo was poking me in the eye.
Thank you. I was going to tell you that.
I'll do better about keeping myself over here. But what I love about those photos that you shared is that it really let us see what you all see in the balcony on the tech side, and then on the screen, what the audience will be seeing. It just helps me imagine, when I'm watching next weekend after I buy a ticket at theater444.com, what will be going on behind the scenes. I mean, that's so cool. Get that set up, the balcony, and the Fat Singer Hall. I haven't been there in years. It looks beautiful. So this is all set up in the balcony?
Yes, we're all set up in the back. Garrett's making some decisions about what shots we're going to take, and we have 3 cameras that we're using, so it's pretty incredible, and he can talk more about all of that and how that works. But
yeah. Garrett, can you introduce yourself to anyone watching who might not know who you are, even though I've known you for, years and years and years, maybe forever, close to forever. And what's been, I believe you're the technical mastermind behind telling Pam, yes, we can do this. So
I would not be doing this without Garrett. There's no way.
Where did you even begin? So if you want to answer all those questions, I will zip it now.
So to introduce myself, I'm Garrett. I've been working in theater. I was on stage for years, and then I decided to go into the tech world for the past 7 or 8 years. I've been doing tech, be it local theater or used to work at Jiva Theater in Rochester. So I've been doing live events all over the place for years. And working with Pam and RJ on GTG shows, as well as Theater 444 when we kicked off a couple years ago with Spring Awakening. So Pam had said that, these live streams on Facebook are going really well. Let's do something else. And we kind of came up with this idea, and after a lot of research, I said, yeah, I think this is something we can do. It's an awesome challenge for me. I like to push myself, and Pam brings that out in me definitely, especially with a project like this. So it's really cool, everything from finding the cameras that we can use and getting our hands on that equipment to how are we going to do this, making sure our computers are compatible, to stream the high quality video that we're taking, to even just working sound into the video and making sure that everything looks the same and lips aren't moving and then you hear the sound. You know, you want it all to be at the same time. So it's a lot of research, but a lot of trial and error. But we've come together, and I mean, our run today went about as smooth as it could go for our first full run.
And the quality of the picture is really good. I mean, I know people probably don't know what to expect when they, get on, but when, what we're looking at, the quality is really excellent and clear. So we're still playing around and figuring out what's best and what looks best, but it's definitely good quality.
And what struck me about the picture that you just shared is that the costumes are beautiful, which of course are contributed by the wonderfully talented Paula Lifter, who I just adore, but I haven't seen her forever. Hi, Paula.
I know. Good to see you.
And the lighting. And so RJ Raposa, hi, doing the lighting. So Paula, if you could share, who you are for anybody who doesn't know, but what kinds of, what was the journey like putting the costumes together? I also heard that you put the costumes together with very little money, and just what era of clothing we're looking at here. And RJ, what was it like to design lights for a theater production that is actually more of a television production too? So Paula and RJ, take it away.
Well, the era for the show is the early 1900s, and I had the privilege of knowing a really interesting woman named Edith Delavan, and she had a remarkable collection of old clothing and artifacts and antiques from her family, and she had hung on to them for a long, long time. And then, like many of us, she got to a place where she was like, what am I hanging on to these things for? They're not doing anything but collecting dust. And she had given them to my girls to use and to play with. And we did enjoy some for dress up, but then other pieces, I was like, we can't touch these. They're just too lovely. They're too gorgeous. And they appeared to be really fragile at the time, but it was really interesting when Pam asked me to do this. I was right in the process of purging a lot of stuff that has just been hanging around here in Lipgerland. And I found these beautiful blouses, and they're all handmade, hand sewn, hand cut, hand pieced from the early 1900s. And I just decided, well, they're going to go in the washing machine and we're going to see if they come out, or they'll either fall apart and I'll have to find other things. And they came out beautifully. And I did have to mend some things, and by the grace of God, most of it fit Marilla. And even one of the blouses will fit Abby, which is just a delight that she's going to get the opportunity to wear them as well. And then some of the other things, I actually just scoured some of my favorite thrift stores and online sites that have historical and period pieces, and kind of even bartered with an Etsy store owner for Marilla's skirt for the first act, because I just could see that it would be perfect for the show. But I kind of shamelessly bartered with her because she said in her ad that it needed a little bit of repair, that it was authentic. It was authentic early 1900s. It had been on actually on a wagon train to head out west. And it had burn holes in it from the campfires. And so she gave it to me for a steal, and I took it and repaired it. It's been great fun. It's been great fun. I love the idea that it's actual pieces from the time, and that the show itself is in Terwilliger, where it's also so period perfect, and in a library with so many literary references. Just overall, it's
very
really delightful.
serendipitous, isn't it? It's just
it is. It's really wonderful and so much fun. So much fun to be a part of.
Thanks, Paula.
Yeah.
RJ, can you tell us about the lighting? And of course, John Lipker is there with you, who is going to operate the light board, I am told.
This way.
John, whenever you want to chime in as well, let us know how that's going.
It's going pretty good. So far, it's pretty easy.
So far.
Yeah.
It's just all been a nightmare from the first. No, I'm just kidding. The thing about Fatzinger and Hall is that you do feel like you're working in a historical space, and you are. And the last technical upgrade to the lighting in there happened in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And so it's an interesting juxtaposition to be kind of figuring out how to interface all that technology that's kind of old with new technology that we need to make it communicate with modern devices. Even the dimming system doesn't interface with what is available now. So I think, I don't think I ever could have imagined that the last time I did lighting in that space with what I think is Godspell with Seneca Community Players and this gigantic light board dinosaur the size of a small Buick that I'm now running off of a laptop with a teeny tiny little box that makes it all happen. As far as, getting the show to look, luckily, I had taken advantage of doing some work in the television program at SUNY Fredonia when I was an undergrad. So I was kind of familiar with what the general requirements would be in terms of getting things to look right to a camera versus to an eyeball. And
which is very different.
Which is surprisingly different. And then I think the last thing is Pam and I have spent a lot of time talking, and Garrett too, about her strength and what we work so hard normally is creating these stage pictures. And we tend to do that by controlling the audience's attention with light. So, you'll cut out all light except just on the person that you want the audience to focus on. Well, when we have cameras to do that. So kind of initially we thought, well, we'll just make a nice, what we call a wash, nice lighting wash, and just turn it on and be done with it. Then the camera will do all the work. But then as we got doing the text, we kind of were feeling like, no, because one of the things that's been important that Pam and I have talked a lot about is, and this, I'm going to use a made up word, we really still want it to feel theater-y. We don't want it to feel like a television show. And so to do that, we did need some lighting changes to happen. And for those to be able to change in kind of in tandem with what Garrett's putting together in choosing his shots, we've chosen to change some lighting in moments. So it's a really interesting fusion between these two worlds, because, for all the obvious reasons, anybody who's watching now or that's participating right now knows when we watch our shows digitally or in a recorded, however it was recorded, it's that recorder that whether it was some sort of camera that was propped up in the back and during a show, and it just, everybody's washed out and the lights are too bright and you can't see everybody's faces. And if they did zoom too much in and out, they didn't do it right and they missed something. And so we're really conscious of that and wanting to get the word out as we've been promoting this, that it's a live streamed staged production. A lot of folks have in this, since the pandemic hit, have been working really hard on the creative side and done some really cool stuff with Zoom and WebEx and some of those kinds of things. And, you know, with varying degrees of success because of the limitation of those platforms. And this is something entirely different. This is like you said, we don't dare compare ourselves to those professional, you know, live nationally broadcast pieces, but it is akin to that. You're dialing in, listen to me, dialing in, dinosaur. You're logging in to watch what you enjoy about the stage pictures that, you know, Pam is famous for, and the quality of her direction and all of those things. You're still going to see that stuff with a sprinkle of a heavier artistic touch from Garrett as he live works these 3 cameras in different angles to capture those moments for you the way Pam's intending them to look. So
and there we get to see everything at work together, which is really cool. So you can start to see what Garrett's talking about, what Arjun's talking about, some more costumes from Paula.
Garrett, cool. Maybe Garrett, can you talk a little bit about the sound? I know that video clip is just like me with my cell phone in the back of the theater. It's not going to sound like that.
So we have speakers set up in the room just so that all the technicians and Meredith, when she's playing the piano, can hear the actors. Just because as small as that space is, sound still gets lost. But we also have microphones on the actors and the piano with Meredith that are feeding directly into the streaming system so that the audio is like crystal clear audio that you'll have straight through your device.
So it's great that Meredith is so skilled, because if she weren't, we'd be hearing all the wrong notes crystal clear.
No pressure.
Exactly. That's why there's some jazz music in here too, so she can have those.
Right. We'll never know. Which Meredith and Rochelle, both of you joined us last weekend when we had some of the cast members here and talked with everybody more about that perspective, what the show was about, what their experience was like. We did hear from you last week, but in 1 week of time, you've had a bunch of rehearsals where you've introduced tech. I know one of the questions I asked Rochelle last weekend was, what is your role going to be like as a stage manager come next weekend when it's showtime? Buy tickets at theater444.com. Rochelle, have you has your role clarified at all in this week of what you'll be doing when we are live streaming?
Yes. My main role is just to make sure that beginning of the show, beginning of the second act, everything is set where they need it to be. Just like a normal production, I have my checklist. I go through with the actors. I make sure everything's where they need it to be, that they're set, they have everything they need. When it comes to actually performing, I'm mostly monitoring. Garrett and Pam are up in the balcony. If they need me to run something down to Meredith, I can do that. If they need me to run a cable or something to one of the cameras, I could do that. It's more being available for any last minute needs than anything really. Because my job at this point is pretty much done. They all know their blocking, they all know their lines, they know their songs, they know what they have to do. It's just making sure that everyone has everything possible that they do.
And she's so good at that.
She, as usual, she's underselling her contributions. You know, like yesterday, she was a camera person, for example. You know, learning to run a camera. Oh, just just that. Or it's funny to watch. It's interesting for theater people. It's going to be intriguing. I think I would love to be able to have a sort of behind the scenes shot for just the theater people, because some of it is so different. Like if I need to run a battery down to Marilla, I can do that because she's not on camera, or she just steps out of frame to change her blouse. You know, it's like, it's just really interesting. Like Pam said in the balcony today, she's like, wait, you mean we can like talk to each other during the thing? And Garrett's like, you know, we don't
talk out loud. And
yeah.
You know, we haven't spent time dressing cable and hiding stuff, and you know, it's a very unique.
Oh yeah,
experience.
We haven't hit a thing. The place is a mess. Usually we clean and we hide everything, you know.
We are spread out all over that place.
Yeah, we're taking up every space that we have.
So Meredith, bouncing off of what RJ had just shared about some of the differences of what the live streaming sort of version of producing theater is compared to what we know more traditionally, have you experienced any differences or challenges musically, or has your job stayed fairly consistent?
Yeah, thankfully, I feel like I'm just doing a regular show. Nothing has really changed for me, thank God. Because I still have no clue what Garrett is doing back there, and that's fine with me. I just have to sit there and play, listen to my singers, and I'm good. So really, that's just any other show to me. Garrett is doing back there, and that's fine with me. I just have to sit there.
We've got like an echo.
So really, any other show to me.
I don't know what that is.
Is someone also watching on Facebook right now while we're, I don't know, two windows?
It's not me.
Maybe.
No.
Okay.
That's okay. Well, Meredith, are you ever going to appear on camera?
Nope.
No.
No,
That was very adamant.
Yeah, I'm just far enough back. I'm out of the frame, which is good. It's where I like to be.
Here's another video, Greg.
Oh, great. Another really cool glimpse into what will be going on behind the scenes next weekend. You're 1 week away. How does that feel?
I know. I think Meredith said last week, I didn't know how much I needed this until we started doing it. It has been such an escape for us and such a relief to be together creating something, not thinking about COVID and, all of that and the stress of the country and all that. It's just like the world just went away and we went in the theater and we did our thing. And it was such a blessing. And it was so serendipitous, like Paula was saying, we're in this early 19th century space and she's found all these 19th century, early costumes. And then the Fat Singer Hall, Waterloo museum gave us all this like authentic crop material that we have on the set. It's just like everything is just so lovely there. It's just a lovely little world to escape into. So I'm gonna miss it.
Well, does anyone have any final comments? Anything that you haven't been able to share that you would like to share? And if not, why should people come watch?
I would like to say something about the streaming from the audience's end. So I know I've heard a few people saying that they're nervous about buying a ticket, or they don't know what to expect and they don't know how to do it. And Paul and I were talking about this today, about some folks that are, worried about what's going to happen, from their end. So really what you do is you go to our website and buy a ticket to the show. It will walk you through that. I've had a few people email and say, my ticket, I don't think my ticket went through, and I checked and it didn't go through. So you just, start over. Sometimes technology can be like that. So get your ticket, and then in your email, you'll get an email from the company, the ticketing company, with instructions and a link for you to go to on the night of the show. And you can log in anytime after 7:30. Go to the link, and then it will ask you for your code. And your code is your ticket number. And you put your code in, and there we are on the screen. It's like magic. It's super easy.
Sounds very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are tips that we have put out, and there are tips on our website for making it a little smoother for you. They found that using a Chrome browser is better. So that's something that we want to make sure folks have. So that's one piece. Paula, was there any other things that came up when you were talking to people?
I think that folks were just apprehensive when they would go to get the ticket and they didn't understand about the when it asked what device, number of devices. And it's just you're paying a ticket to watch the show on one device. So if you wanted to watch it on your TV, on your Chromebook, on your phone, that would be 3 devices. So you have to have 3 different codes with those 3 different devices. So really, it's pretty simple. You kind of, if you don't get confused by that and just recognize that most people you're going to be going on, and you're going to choose one device most likely, and then you just turn on that device. And I don't think, if I correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't need to. That was the other question. Do you need to know which device you're going to watch it on ahead of time? And no. It's
like
just
a coupon.
that.
It's like a coupon.
Right.
You get one code, and you can put it in one device. And if you want to use it on 2 devices, you got to get 2 codes.
Right. Exactly. So, it doesn't matter if you're going to watch it on your iPad, or if you're going to watch it on your Chromebook, or if you're going to watch it on your laptop. It's just when you go to watch it, you're going to put that code in. And that's as simple as that. Yeah.
And the benefit of the code too is if you say you start streaming on your iPad and then it dies in the middle of Act 1 and you're like, oh no, I can't get this charged. You can use the same code for a different device, but you can't use 2 devices at the same time.
Right. Exactly.
It's kind of like Netflix.
Good to know.
They know when you're watching on 2 different places. I'm sorry, Arch, go.
On this topic, I've had a couple people ask me, we're going to sort of have a watch party, and we're going to have a couple of us watching, and they felt a little bad about, normally they would go to the theater, the group of 4 of them, and they would go to the theater and they'd all buy tickets. So would we rather have them purchase multiple tickets, or would we rather have them make a donation in the amount of the other tickets?
I mean, honestly, you can do it either way. And that was what I was going to say. The ticketing is set up so that if there's one person watching, you can purchase one ticket. We would ask you, in just honesty and fairness to us, that you, if there are more than one person watching, that you pay for more than one person to watch, but you only need one device. So that's why it's split up the way it is. So you can buy 4 viewers on one device. You can do that. Or you can just buy 1 viewer on one device and donate the rest. And we would love that too. All of that's the honor system right now. We can't control how many people are watching on a device. But I will say that everything that we're doing is costing the exact same that it would cost us to do a production live in person if you were in the theater. The cost is actually the cost is a little bit more because of the equipment and stuff that we need. And so I will say that, if we don't get an audience the size that we would get in a theater, it will impact our financial state. So it would be helpful if folks would be honest or donate. That would be good. And you can donate right in your ticketing purchase.
Bill, I hope that answers your question. But just to clarify, if there's 2 of you, you can buy 1 ticket for 1 device and just select 2 viewers.
All that's very helpful. From all the tips Paula shared to using Chrome, all the explanations of devices versus viewers. I didn't even think about how that would be a new experience for most people. But I feel like I understand better.
And if anyone has any other questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us. We've all kind of become familiar with it and can help you figure it out. So just feel free to send any one of us a message.
Right.
You can also always message through the Theater 444's Facebook page as well. Go ahead and give that a like. You can follow it. Theater 444 is also on Instagram. So find
and Twitter and YouTube.
And YouTube.
And the way we're always connected, I could see that even if the day of, if it's 7:30 and you're having trouble getting in, shoot a message up to the Facebook page and one of us will be monitoring it and can shoot back an answer. But as I said to one of my friends, actually it's a coworker, don't stress out about this. If you've logged into Hulu, you're probably logged into multiple things that are the same. Hulu, Roku, Netflix, Prime Video. It's no different. You're going to get an activation code and you go to a website and you put it in and there it is. This isn't alien. I know that some of our older folks are a little bit concerned. I think that a certain mom of mine and Paula, is in that club of asking a lot of questions and wondering what this is going to be like. And it's part of the adventure. And I hope that everyone will get the word out to support us in this venture.
Take the adventure with us.
Right. I mean, not for nothing, but I hope that things can open up soon. But with Broadway saying that they're not thinking they're going to be much open before 2022, it's easy to think that we may do this again. So really jump in and take the leap with us.
And something that's really cool that we mentioned last Sunday, and it's worth mentioning again, is that normally only people who are right around Geneva, New York, or within travel distance can see a Theater 444 production. But because this is being live streamed, anyone in the entire world can buy a ticket to watch this show. So friends, relatives, all over the country, all over the world, this is something that they can see. So feel free to invite them, put it out there on Facebook.
I'm excited because my family does not live nearby. And so they can watch now and they can see a show that I've directed. And that's exciting.
It's great fun. It's great fun because I have nieces and nephews who will be watching from Tennessee, from Delaware, from Ohio, Oklahoma. So it is so being available when most of the time it's not.
So certainly, this is only happening in response to attempting to do theater amid a pandemic. But a silver lining is exactly what Paula and Pam just shared, is that now we have the ability to share this production with an audience that would not necessarily be able to see this as accessibly as this is at this point.
Yeah.
So,
So we really hope folks will take the journey with us and try this out, because it's been quite exceptional of an experience. And I will say that these actors are wonderful. You're going to have an enjoyable evening, and they're working super hard. So
if you missed the interview that we did last Sunday, it is still available on the Facebook page. Definitely worth checking out. We heard a ton from Marilla and from Damon and understudy Abby about their experiences acting in this production. And more video clips. Marilla performed live for us last weekend as well. So if you're interested, check it out and get a larger glimpse of what you can expect next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tickets at theater444.com. I'll just say it again.
Can I jump in with two things? One is easy. All my friends that are of a certain age, I gotcha. I'm in the same club, and as Garrett could tell you, I often will be like asking him as a youngster, like, I don't understand how this DMX stuff works. So I'm with you. The other thing is, Sean Fenner asked us a question that now that we've experienced this, how it works, do you think you may move into bigger productions in the near future? I'll let Pam answer that. From my little corner of the world, I would love to try this again, knowing what we know now, because I could see this being, for all the reasons that Paula said, it could be an interesting thing to have in the mix, to be able to reach a broader audience across the country and the world. It could just be a really cool thing to have in our offerings in future seasons. I will say that the money would go up exponentially the larger the production. Just seeing that, for example, we needed 3 cameras to cover just these two actors running around the stage. I can't imagine what we would need to do on a larger stage, etc. But good energy. Pam, what do you think?
I agree, RJ. I think it would be challenging, which has never stopped us before. We were just saying yesterday, who do we think we are? we are just not afraid to try things that are really super hard. And so I think the larger the production, the more difficult it would be. And it would take a little bit more money and finagling. And obviously, with the COVID, we wouldn't want to have too many people involved. There's never more than about 12 people in the theater in that big space that we're in right now, so that we can stay apart from each other. We're being super careful. So that would be challenging with people having too many people. But getting past COVID, I could see us maybe trying this once in a while with a larger group for fun, to challenge ourselves a little bit. I think we would do it. But I never say never with these people. These people are crazy. Okay. I say, I get a crazy idea, and then they all go, sure, why not? And then in the middle of it, I go, wait a minute, how are we doing this? I can't believe we're doing this. We're doing this, because they try anything. They're brave people, and they're so talented. So, I'm super lucky to have all these fantastic people around me that just say yes all the time.
If you are watching, and I think there's a good, 11 or 12 folks, Remember, that goes up exponentially as you share it. So please share this with your friends. Put it up on your Facebook pages, and your news feeds and Instagrams and all those kinds of socials and all that. But also, old analog ways, talk to that person that that lady who goes, you don't even maybe really know, but seems to always see all of your shows. I know I have a couple of folks like that in my world that I've run into and said, hey, you should try watch this cool thing I'm working on, when I saw them in Walmart and Wegmans. So, please get the word out because as Peachy wisely pointed out, let's make some money first. That's certainly a reality in this situation. So, please do get the word out. And if you know somebody who feels daunted by this, and you're watching this, and you invite them over, have them buy a ticket, but then you throw it up on your laptop, Chromecast it to your TV, or whatever. Do that for that person that might be unwilling or feel like they can't get their mind around the technology.
Yeah, I'll be helping my grandparents watch next week.
That's one other thing too, Greg. I know that so many theater groups around us have been trying really interesting things and doing lots of stuff, mostly plays. Musicals are really tough to put in a virtual setting because of the lag, right? And so the music is a big deal. And so if you're missing musical theater like I was, because I'm a musical theater nerd and I was really missing it, here's your opportunity because there's not a lot of musical theater going on right now. And this one's lovely. Lovely.
And you can bring whatever snacks you want.
Yeah. And no bathroom, no line.
Snacks and beverages, in the comfort of your home, and a live show. What's better than that?
Hey, Pam, Toby asked if there's a way to buy Theater 444 swag.
Yeah. If you go to our website, there's a shop on the website, and you can just order there, and we'll get you what you want. We have we have shirts left and
ornaments, Pam.
Ornaments. We have Christmas ornaments right now that are beautiful. If you want a Christmas ornament, so yeah, it's going to be great. We're excited.
Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Just to pat everybody on the. I want to pat everybody on the back around our little Hollywood Squares boxes here because I really have been. I've been saying this to people all the time. My friends that are in different states and things. I'm so proud of what 444 has done during this lockdown pandemic period. Our cabarets were so much fun. One of them I did while I was in the middle of the woods camping, and I had friends that were watching from the camp, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is so professional!" And da, da, da. And if you haven't done a trivia night, I did trivia a couple nights ago or last week or something that Greg's been doing, and that's so much fun. And just, I want to send out gratitude for the folks around, Pam for hatching this and being such a forward-thinking leader and not to whilst discerning, I should say. She was apologizing if she was too hard on us today, and we were all like, "No, no, that's what we count on you for."
Right. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Kelly Walker and Kathy Collins and Melanie Higgins, who couldn't join us tonight, but they are our 3 camera operators, as well as people who have loaned us equipment. And this really could not happen without those 3 people. So if you see them, ask them what they've been up to. I'm sure they'll have an answer.
It's funny. It feels like community theater in some ways that except it's usually a set piece or a costume piece where someone's like, "Oh yeah, I've got that table at home." But this time it's like, "Oh, let me text my friend who has this special lens for the camera." And it appears the next day. It's pretty magical.
It is. It's been very magical.
That's
So
a good
don't
point.
miss it.
Don't miss it. Tickets, please. We just want you to see it. More than anything, Greg, I've been saying this over and over again. I'm not even worried about that. I just want people to see it. It's so good. It really is so good. Marilla and Damon are just phenomenal. And the costumes are beautiful and the setting is gorgeous. And it's a beautiful show. It really is. So please join us.
Well, that sounds like a great ending for a really nice interview. Thank you, Pam, Garrett, Rochelle, Paula, John, AJ, and Meredith for giving us your insight into everything that you've been doing. I know I can't wait to watch next weekend. I'll get out of the logo here. And, to anybody watching, thank you for watching. Please do, as RJ said, share away so that people don't miss this magical event that's happening next weekend.
It's magical, for real. Thank you, everybody.
Good
Cheers.
night. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Good night.